And thanks everybody for taking some time out of your day to come and hear what's going on at Reworked. We've been doing a couple of these recently, and I feel like we've been doing a lot of podcasts as we talk about not only what's been happening in our REI product, but what we've been able to put together for roofers. We're really excited about that. So we'll talk about what we put together for roofers with Eagleview. Shyam will walk everybody through product releases and changes and updates that we've got out there. We'll have a quick conversation about what's coming up, and I'm sure we'll have some questions. So let's dive right into this. So, as most people know by now, we've created a collaboration with Eagleview, and Eagleview is one of the premier, if it's the premier aerial imagery company. And we did this because we're marrying our ability to understand the buying propensity of a homeowner with the Eagleview's unmatched ability to find bad roofs. And that marriage allows roofing companies, roofing product manufacturers, distributors to better understand where their opportunities are. And it's the first product of its kind in the marketplace. It's totally different than pay-per-clicks or leads, but it's looking at the roofs from 6,000 feet, not satellite imagery, using computer vision models to analyze the roof. And with these imagery, you can get down to a 1 inch, and they can find hail damage, existing damage, failing roofs, discoloration. It's quite intense, the level of imagery that we have access to. And we were doing pilots over the summer, and the results have been astounding. And now we've launched in September and are well on our way to, I don't know if it's going to transform the marketplace, but it's certainly bringing a new tool to roofers and manufacturers to help them grow their business in a very competitive landscape. So we'll move on. So in essence, what it's doing is the traditional leads aspect in the roofing is a pay-per-click, where someone has clicked on a Facebook ad or Google and put a couple points in, or got a roof, tried to get a roof quote, and then the pay-per-click farms sell that lead to 5, 6, 7, 8 companies for $75, $80, $100. And when we first started getting into this, we thought there would be a lot of conversion in these leads, but it turns out they're really not that good. And everybody in the industry already knew that. So what we're offering is the opportunity, not the person that knows that they have a problem with the roof, not the person that is actively seeking a solution for the roof. This is the homeowner that doesn't realize that their roof is failing and is about to have a problem. So by combining the aerial imagery with the demographic component that we bring to the table, roofing companies and manufacturers and distributors can find the people that are sitting there just happy in their daily life and reach out to them and say, hey, Mr. Johnson, do you realize your roof is about to fail? And what is happening is people are like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean my roof's about to fail? And they're calling the company, they're having somebody come out, and they're saying, yeah, you've got these 4 areas that are damaged. And they're like, wow, I didn't realize this. I better do something about this. So it's not chasing that 1% of the marketplace that realizes that they have a problem, they've got leakage. This is everybody else that is qualified, that has the wherewithal, that looks like people that have changed their roof in the last 18 months, because we went out and bought a bunch of roof permit data to train our algorithms. And with the aerial imagery, able to determine that the roof is truly bad. So it's been a game changer, and the adoption's been really strong, and we're really happy with our collaboration with Eagleview. All right.
Cool.
So Sean, do some of the product updates for the REI as well as Eagleview.
Yeah, thanks, Fred. For folks joining in just now that missed Fred's update, we were just going over a new vertical launch on the roofing side, and Fred just spoke about success of the launch and the integration with Eagleview and how that was kind of pivotal to get the roofing vertical going. Now, of course, just as a reminder, Reworked launched about 3.5 years ago, uh, servicing the REI vertical, real estate investor vertical. I mean, we started the business because I sent, or rather, Fred sent a mailer to me as a land investor, and we got talking. We realized there's nothing in the market that helps investors
That's
target
that's our Hollywood meet cute.
right? Um, you know, Fast forward 3.5 years, the team has grown. We have engineers working purely on the roofing vertical, but we also have engineers who continue to work on the REI side, on the REI product side. And I just want to we just want to give an update on all the work that's happened over the last few months. A lot of exciting work has happened, and wanted to share all of that goodness. I mean, you would have seen it as you've used the product, but wanted to share that here as well. Okay, I'll just go over these one by one. By the way, one quick housekeeping note: if you have any questions, I know we don't have sort of the guest mode talking on Google Meet. Doesn't allow for that, but we do have a link that I've pinned to chat. It should be a link which says sli.do, app.sli.do. You can click on that and put in your questions there. Awesome. Okay, so first up, we have a completely new and refreshed look. This went live a few months ago. It has, it is, of course, it's made the user interface more intuitive, but it's also addressed a lot of the problems that we heard over the last few years from users like yourselves, especially on the onboarding. So we've addressed some of the new user onboarding. Column mapping was a constant pain. We've addressed that as well, where you can actually download a sample file. You can also look at the required columns there. So that we've also solved. And just the layout and the presentation of the whole site is a little more intuitive and user friendly right now. We've also changed our marketing site. We've gotten some really good feedback on that. Thank you for those who've shared that feedback. Some positive. I think I heard the word "sexy" there from some folks. Okay. Moving on, next one. This was a huge update that went in. Many months of hard work went into this, because remember, a lot of our processing time when you upload a file goes into actually getting or appending data from all our third-party data vendors. And because we hit multiple data vendors, and because over the last 3 years we've added vendors, obviously not subtracted them, the time taken to process has only increased. But we did invest a lot on parallel processing, on some key infrastructure upgrades, like horizontal scalability and all of these that really helped make these files go a lot faster. Mainly, it's helped actually get the third-party data much quicker. And of course, the algorithm running itself was also, we just increased some hardware specs there, much larger processing power. So, the proof is in the pudding. A 10,000 record file, which used to take an hour and 20, an hour 10 before, takes 20 minutes now.
Do you remember how long it would take 2 years ago? Right. I mean, 2 years ago, 10,000 would take, most customers would upload it at the end of the day and come back the next morning and have it ready. Right. And it's, there was never any people behind it, but this was a real big challenge that the team really stepped up to get it to 20 minutes. Right. I didn't think we'd get there, but it's just amazing.
Yeah. It's also, it was also pushed by a certain small section of customers who have a different integration pattern with us. Most customers are obviously uploading lists onto our site But there are some customers who now have API integrations, and not only, I mean, of course, customers used to have API integrations as well before, but some customers have it such that they've tied it to their marketing site, where any lead coming in is immediately scored and got given back to them. So we have that new usage mechanism that also kind of pushed us to get these a little lot faster. Okay. All right. So this is something that is always ongoing. File cleansing. This is 3.5 years ago. This is one of the first things we worked on, because you obviously had to handle multiple variations in the file. One of the things that really bothered us early on, and even up until recently, was multiple column headers. So especially folks who would be combining files, what they end up doing is they combine lists and they have multiple headers in the list, and that just like wreaks havoc in our system. So we've handled that. Of course, column name handling and advancements in the column mapping has also been solved. And finally, the name parsing. So if you remember, a few months ago, we sent an update where we actually use LLMs, large language models, now to handle multiple name columns, right? Like some folks send first name, last name. Some folks send, Doe, John in a owner full name column, and all these like subtle variations that become super important for us to actually hone in on, because without getting the name right, we're not actually able to score the record correctly. So getting the name right is super important to us, and that's why we spent a lot of effort in solving that problem.
So Peter just raised his hand. So Peter, click on that link in the chat, the Slido, and you can ask a question there if you'd like. Okay, continue, Shyam.
Yep. Okay. As I was mentioning previously, we do have customers using APIs. So we just have it self-serve now. Previously people would email us, hey, what's the API key? We would email them back. Now it's just there on the page, right? Like you can actually click on any of these integrations that we support, and it gives you a detailed overview on, or rather, a detailed description and steps on how you actually integrate with any of these softwares. And the API key is right there. You just grab it, you put it on the the app that you're integrating with. Super easy and self-serve. So we have some larger customers. Fred, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say the question came in, is any change to Betty score for landowner? So the short answer is yes, all the time. The long answer is the score is changing due to the continual learning of Betty, right? So many people have heard me say this. Betty has to have a feedback, right? Machine learning is not a one and done, right? So every month, Betty is getting updates from our institutional investors saying this is their inquiries and their deals. And she's taking that into account. And then some of our larger customers have to send the bottom half of the list on a regular basis. And that allows Betty to check to make sure that she's not missing anything. So, but the fundamental concept of 100 and above for real estate is that still has not changed. It's 100 and above.
Yeah.
Sorry, Shyam.
No, all good. So we have some larger customers and institutional investors that Fred was talking about. Because they've been there for a longer time, we've kind of moved them to either some sort of an annual contract or postpaid. That did require a bunch of changes on our side to support that. Most of you folks on the call or otherwise are on either subscriptions or a pay-as-you-go. But if you see yourself regularly using the product, and you want to just connect with Fred. We are happy to chat with you to see if we can either get you on a lower price on an annual contract or a postpaid billing.
So, Shyam, I just want to address a question that came in from Mel. What type of demographic data do you use? Right. So, this is a very common question, and there's a helicopter here. Hopefully, they're not coming for me. It is all of the things that make us unique as individuals, right? Think such as income range, credit score range, has a credit score moved, marital status, children at home, membership subscriptions, what homes, properties, cars, boats, planes are owned or registered. Are they a member of a club, travel, even down to magazines, right? And so this allows Betty to create a profile. So it's an exhaustive list, but I always want to make sure we don't get every data point for every person, and that's okay. As we all know, data is not perfect, right? So there are holes. That's why you heard Shyam mention that we use multiple data providers, because there has to be a certain threshold of data in order to make a prediction. And another question here, Shyam, says, notice you started the Google Meet for roofing. Is your focus still for motivated real estate owners? Absolutely, right? That is our bread and butter. And it's what it's enabled us to have this company, right? These are our core customers. We still have well over 600 people in our real estate sector, and we love each and every one of them. And we have a department, I guess we could call it now, Shyam, that is looking at managing Betty for real estate. But we've also created another department for roofing, and we suspect that we'll continue that path with Eagleview and start looking at home services that are visible from the outside, such as windows and siding, yard maintenance, pool care, patios, and things like this over the future. But that just means we're growing as a company, and we're staying true to our core competency, which is machine learning and propensity scoring.
Yeah, they're absolutely right. I mean, we do have engineers dedicatedly working on the Betty for REI, because it does require. So I will get to it towards the end, but I might as well say it now. Like, it does require constant updating, right? Or rather, we update our algorithms. There are two triggers for updating. One, we do have certain REA customers who have their customized algorithm, because they've given us a lot more data for them. And the trigger there is anytime they give new data, we update it. The algorithm that is running for all REI customers, there the trigger is, again, as these, on almost like a weekly cadence, as we get the data, the algorithms are getting updated. And it's not quite auto updating, although that is in the works to be. We are working on building mechanisms where we get a new file with deals, and the entire pipeline runs through. It updates the algorithms, it runs the tests, and it checks to make sure that the algorithms have beaten previous accuracy percentages, and then we deploy it after some sort of manual verification. So that is in the works, but I did want to call out that we have dedicated teams continuing to work on the ARIA algorithm, as well as data vendor management, identifying new data sources, and appending those to enrich the algorithms.
And this is really important in a changing economic condition, right, that the United States is in right now. I mean, when I first started in land flipping 7 years ago, it was different, right? It was easier. It's more difficult now, and buying or selling propensity is constantly adjusting, right? So those larger macro trends are being taken into account in Betty via this continuous feedback loop. So it's really important that we keep that going so Betty stays fresh.
Absolutely. So supported integrations. You've seen this list. I think since the last time we had something like this, we've added Investment Dominator was a large one prior, but we have Zapier. Actually, it's not here, but Zapier, Google Drive, Zoho, HubSpot, all of these. So Yeah.
Look,
And then
another question just came in, Sean.
Mhm.
We kind of touched on this. So the model, Betty's getting updated every 14 days for sure. But it's also happening faster. And as Sean was stating, the team is working on, as the information comes in, it's automatically processed and goes right into Betty automatically. So it'll almost be live, right? Everything that comes in will be updated immediately.
Yeah. So we have this referral program, which is like a link within the site. It's in the left-hand navigation where you're able to grab your referral link and share it around. And you can actually see them convert. You can see if they've joined in and if they've signed up and all of that. And if you've referred, customers reach out to us, we are happy to share some love back. So just take a screenshot of this page and send it to us, and we'll get you some love sent across, either in form of
And
credit or
so another question, this is one that we get on a regular basis, asking if we could help with API. So we have developers, just set up a call and specifically state in there that you'd like some help with the API integration, and we'll make sure we get you won't get me on the call because I'll be as useful as elbows trying to open a can of beer.
it's right here.
Um,
It's on this page. So you go to the integrations tab, and the API key should be right on that page where you can copy it from there. And I'm assuming that would be Mel is an investment dominator user, so you would just put that on the investment dominator side.
Okay.
Okay. This is the last slide. All right. So coming soon. So we spoke about the self-serve model upgrades, where deals come in, historical, like most recent deals, and then the model gets upgraded automatically. We are working on a custom sort capability. So I know some of you have said, hey, we don't actually want Betty to resort the file based on the Betty score. We want the file as is so that we can upload it into our CRMs as is. That's great. That's fine. We'll just have a toggle in your settings page where you say, sort by Betty score, or just like leave it untouched, and then you'll have all your files follow that configuration moving forward. LLMs for column mapping. This has been in the back burner or the product roadmap for some time now. We are planning to take this up in the coming weeks, where the column mapping today is, if we've never seen a file with some column headers that we've never seen, it will fail column mapping. And either the user would have to go in and map columns manually, or they tell us and we map it on their behalf. So just to ease that process and automate that process, large language models are so powerful, right? If a column is called, I don't know, mail street, just mail street instead of mail street address, of course a LLM will realize that it's actually mail street address, and then map it for that automatically. But yeah, so we'll have that capability where any new user or existing user with some new column headers that Betty has never seen, if it comes in, it'll just go through. And finally, the one that I'm most excited about, we are in year 4 of our existence. We've had major three model upgrades for Betty over the last 3+ years. And we are working on another one where it'll be much more powerful than the last one. Of course, we're having these incremental updates, but these incremental updates are only based on new deals or lessons from deals that are coming in. But the major upgrade, like a 3.0 upgrade, will be factoring in new data sources, which basically is telling the model, just as an example, if we were to take property size, which maybe we weren't looking at before, or another example is if they were reading a particular magazine and that we weren't looking at before. So just better data leads to better outcomes, better models. So
Yeah,
that's the
that's
upgrade that.
yeah, that's what people need to know. It's and people might have heard me say this before. It's the most difficult part in setting up Reworked and building this out was getting access to the data, getting access to the data at a price point that allowed it to be priced competitively and fit in with the real estate investor model and now roofing. Another question here is, are you thinking about having any direct mail integrations? I mean, we've thought about this before. That's the back end or the the tail end, and the other side is people are saying, you could resell data, right? I mean, we had talked to First American about reselling data, but many people are very passionate about where they get their data. And many people are very passionate about who they're using for their direct mail activity. So, I mean, we can integrate via API to push the information out or bring it in, but we don't want to, pick a winner or a loser and say, oh, you should go with this direct mailer, right? Because when you see that, that means people are getting a piece of it, right? If we're going to say, oh, use ABC mailer, it means usually ABC mailer is giving us a couple pennies on everything that goes out. That's not our objective. Our objective is to stay squarely in the machine learning, let you get the best price on your mailers by going direct to the factory, so to speak.
Yeah, that's all we have for you today. Any more questions, Fred?
Yeah, I just want to leave everybody with this. I always want to make sure I say this, when you're using Reworked and Betty, if you're not seeing the results that we talk about in real estate, it's a 50% over time reduction of your mailing on maintaining your deals. And in roofing, we're seeing 5 to 6 times the response rate, and then again 3 to 4 times in the closure rate. You just need to let us know when we're going to give you your money back, right? We're not here to run this company by taking money from people without having them satisfied. And if you've got more questions, go to our site, book a call, reach out to us. We're always eager. A lot of the updates and things that we're working on comes from our customers. So we'd love to hear from you. Book a call, send us an email, Fred at Reworked.AI and Shyam, Shyam at Reworked.AI. And have a great Friday, everybody.
Thank you, Fred. Thanks, everybody.